All right, well, I'll just kick this one straight off. So we're here with Birute from the International Bath Academy, who is something of a celebrity in the sauna world, a sauna master, whisking expert. So we're going to talk a little bit today about whisking, about Lithuanian pirtis and the difference between pirtis and banya and traditional sauna. So Birute, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into this weird and wonderful world.
As always, I say that God has good sense of humor, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And everything that is happening in my life it has this sense of humor. So, and I was not a sauna person at all because in this part of Lithuania, when I grew up, there were no saunas. They were banned in one part of the history. So, and I had no sauna experience at all. And the half of my professional life, I was a writer, I was a poet, I was publishing children magazines, puzzles, and things like this.
Wow.
And I really had no idea that I will come to this work, to this kind of living. So, and I was a bit more than 30 something. So, and I really got sick. I got some autoimmune diseases, and I realized that I need to do something with me because I was a polite, nice girl with saying no bad words, not contacting people. In fact, I would be quite good British lady, as I was.
Yeah.
So with no sauna experience, polite, with lots of passive aggression to myself also, I think so. And all these things which we swallow, all these bad emotions, being very polite, they are poisoning us, very literally.
Yeah.
So, and I got some autoimmune diseases. After that, I realized that because of this. So, and what happened that, of course, I was informed that I will need to use pills for all my life, and that's all. There is no treatment for it. I tried to do this for 1 month, maybe. Decided that it's not for me, and just decided to find something that really works.
Yeah.
But it was not sauna. In the beginning, I went to some meditations, body psychotherapies, and things like this. And of course, first I did this for myself. Then it was interesting. I started learning. I started doing some practicing. And at one point, it brought me to sauna.
Yeah.
Just there was a friend who did a little bit. He just knew a little bit about sauna. And it was, wow, it was a moment of enlightenment for me because I was doing so big things, struggling so badly, so torturing myself with lots of some therapies. And here in just 4 hours, you can get the same effect which you can get in 1 week somewhere in some psychotherapy workshop, but also in a pleasant way.
Yeah.
And I'm a lazy person. I'm a lazy and resistant person, in fact. So, and why to do something what you don't want to do? Why to force something?
Yeah.
When you can get this in an easy and relaxed and nice way.
Yes.
So, and it really changed my life.
Yeah.
I started learning myself these things, and then it happened that the publishing house where I worked, it bankrupt, and I just switched my hobby with my profession. I still writing, I still publishing some things, some fairy tales, but now a half of my professional life was writing, and another half, exactly the same amount of time, I am a professional bath master and sauna teacher. So, and yes, it's a really interesting shift.
Yeah.
And now I'm a bit curious because, again, the same time is coming. So it was 15 years of writers' career. Then it was 15 of bath masters and sauna teachers. And what is next?
Yeah, exciting.
So this God maybe is preparing some other things.
Yes. Probably still in the sauna space, or?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So you mentioned there that you're a bath master. For people who maybe don't know what that is, what is a bath master, and how does somebody become a bath master?
Oh, it can be very different things. And sometimes we meet people who say, oh, we have no bath master in our tradition. No, it is not true, because if you go to sauna, you are already a bath master because someone had to heat it.
Yeah.
Someone had to take care of the whole physical stuff which you have, because otherwise you would have no sauna, in fact. So, and I came to a very interesting idea of really classifying the bath master's roles and I found 7 different aspects. And that's just after that we realized that it is they can resonate with 7 chakras, in fact. And for many people, it's something that is very easy to explain.
Yeah.
So let's say if we start from something, we start from very simple, from first chakra, from first step. Or if we build a house, we don't build it from the roof. We build from the
foundation.
From the foundation. So the first step and first foundation is a physical facility, so first chakra. So everything what is physical world, construction, heating, safety, water, and things like this. Even if you have the sauna, which, okay, you don't treat yourself as bath master, you do these things, cleaning and so on. Then if we go up, we have second step or second chakra. It's our belly. It's about really, if first is like sauna father, this is sauna mother. So someone who is taking care, like a sauna host, I say. So someone who is meeting you, who is inviting you, who is offering you some tea, who is doing other things. And maybe don't do big treatments, but just taking care of your emotional safety, not just physical.
Yeah.
But the one who is hosting also needs to know how this functions. So you need also things which are in the lower level. Then we go up, we have third chakra, or we have an entertainer, someone who is creating nice mood. It's a typical thing is Avgust master. Let's go, let's have some fun, let's do it. Someone who is really gathering people.
Yeah.
And look at me. It's like also a bit more male version of it. Going up, we have our hands. We have 4 steps or 4th chakra. It is someone who is connecting.
Okay.
The connector or treatments master, I still don't find good word for it. This is usually when you connect already, not just physically, you can really see people, interact with them, doing treatments. And it is, again, a little bit more female.
Yeah.
Then we go up, we have a teacher or sauna guide. This is a new idea, which is really quite fascinating for me now, because we need to instruct people, we need to guide people. And it doesn't mean that you need to do these things. It's like if you go to yoga, you don't expect that yoga teacher is going to do all these things for you.
Yeah.
Just yoga teacher is showing how to do it, and you do things for yourself.
Yeah. And
I think that it's potentially a very good thing. So it's 5th chakra or 5th element. But you need to know all these things also, how it functions, how to hold space and so on. Then we go up, we have a healer. And it's already a bit dangerous and slippery place. And all people want to be healers.
Yeah.
But it's better if you don't have all these things below. So if you don't have good technical qualities, good technical skills, good understanding about how body functions, better don't go here. And sometimes people are coming with a request that, okay, I have some pain in my body or in my soul, and could you do something with me? And sometimes we can do it. And we have 7th, it is a shaman.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that people really want to do. But if you cannot do this, better don't.
Yeah.
Because it is something that is already, the sun is a spiritual place and has spiritual goals. This is what the 7th chakra about. So, or 7th element.
Yeah.
So, and we can have very, very, very different sauna masters with very, very different actions what we do. And I don't talk about different traditions, because again it is a different story, because you can have just be in sauna no matter what tradition you have or don't have, with very, very different quality of being here.
Wow. So it's a very multidisciplinary role.
Of course.
And to get those kind of expertise, I know you could probably operate at those different levels, but for someone in your eyes at the real pinnacle of Bathmaster, how long do you think it would take them to amass those skills?
Whole life.
Whole life.
It's a spiritual path, and this is something what is called Downer-Kruger effect. Probably you know this.
Yeah.
When you face something so very little bit, your self-confidence jumps to 100%.
Yeah.
You feel expert after one day.
Yeah.
And then it drops down to like 3 or 5%.
Yeah.
And then slowly is going up.
Yeah.
But if you're not mentally sick, you will never reach 100% again.
Yeah.
And sun is the place which needs to be respected. And the moment when you feel that you know everything, you need to stop it.
Yeah.
Because it is something what is really dangerous, and we need to think about, the more you know what can happen and how you can really use it in a good way, but also knowing that many things can go somehow not the way you are planning. Again, the same God's sense of humor is working. But in general, it depends what you want.
Yes.
Because I don't think that we need teach all people to be shamans or healers. The main thing that historically, there were lots of different sauna traditions, really lots of them. And people were going and they knew how to take care of themselves. But at one point of our history, we lost this. And now we have two very different opposite things. We have either past masters who do very sophisticated things, or we have people who know almost zero. Just go to sauna and behave sometimes not in the best way, let's say. And we really lost this ability to take care of ourselves and our friends, family members. And this is a huge potential. And we really need to bring this skill back. And for this, we really can do it in a few days, in fact. No need to plan that you need to go and learn somewhere for a few months or years. And I think that this is something what we need as a survival skill, and mostly not for physical survival, because physically we can survive, but for mental survival, not to get mad in this crazy world.
Yeah. So going back to the learning journey, then. So if somebody wants to become a bath master, obviously you have the International Bath Academy in Lithuania. Tell us a little bit about what you would expect if you signed up for courses there, and what kind of training. Where should people start? If somebody's listening to this, going, "Oh, I that sounds like something I'd like to do." What does that journey look like?
We work a lot in different countries, also not just in Lithuania. And in UK, we have more than 100 people who went already through this, through these trainings. So the different levels, and we work a little bit in a different way in Lithuania and here, with Lithuanians and not Lithuanians, because again, we need to adjust some things. When people have some skills, when people have no skills. And in general, there are 7 levels or 7 modules, and there are levels which you need to go step by step. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ABC.
Right.
Let's say this way, because there are some things which, for example, if you want to make whisks yourself, so you need just very little bit understanding how it works and why whisks are used for. But if you want to do complicated group whisking, probably you need lots of techniques before learning these things. So, and normally we have like 3 days, or if you go deeper, so it's a bit more than 3 days. The basic thing is a family bath master. So, and there are 2 levels, like basis of sauna and then a family sauna, let's say, and 3 days. So, and these 6 days are something what is a basic set of knowledge just to start doing things. In fact, you can start even after 1 day. Just a little bit understanding that how should you be in sauna, because people have a strange idea that in sauna you need to torture yourself. So, and you need somehow to suffer. So, and even 1 day experience that you can be in a different way, that you can play with steam, you can play with plants, you can do these things. Also, you can get all kind of different touch in sauna. It is something that is life-changing experience already. So, and if you plan to have sauna before, it is better to have good sauna experience. Then you will have more understanding what you want and what sauna is good for you. Because I don't say that there are no good, no bad saunas. There are sometimes really bad saunas which are not useful for anything. But mostly you need sauna which you need. And it depends on what you want to do. Because if you want to do sauna in a Finnish way, you need one thing. If you want to do some Lithuanian style or Russian style or Afghan style, again, you need different things, even very technically. So, and it is good really to try different things. So, and yes, and if you have just 1 day, you can just try. We have ABC of healthy sauna, or now I started introducing guiding the sessions of self-care. It can be that you can be a sauna guide, just show people how to do things, or you just want to try it on yourself. You just go to sauna, you want to enjoy sauna, and you don't have an idea to be a bath master. how to make some kind of mixtures, how to use them. The main thing is how to use, because finding mixtures is not a big thing. You just can buy or you can create. But the main thing that with the same, let's say, salt, you can do like 6 or 7 opposite things. And it depends if you are tired or you are energized or maybe you have some pain or whatever. So how to play with these things. And usually people had these skills. They knew it, more or less. And we just need to bring it back. Just, I think that it is something that is important. And if you feel that you want to go deeper, of course you can go to learn to do treatments, to do whisking, to do scrubs. Then maybe level 3 is about adjusting yourself, not yourself, but your client, adjusting your work according to the client's needs, individualization of the past master's work. Then level 4, it's about group work, all kind of group whisking, group treatments, group, I don't say play or rituals or whatever. So I avoid this word ritual because we tend to call rituals things which are not rituals at all. So it's and also it's better to keep a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
So and you can do this here, you can do this in Lithuania, you can just write to us and say that, oh, there are 3 or 4 friends and we want to come and learn something about sauna, and we just will. I mean, we can create something specially for you.
Great.
According to your needs.
Yeah. So I should explain to the listeners, you're here in the UK at the moment doing some training, and your next week will be filled with it. So you travel around doing training all over the world, which we'll come on to in a little bit. But you've also got in Lithuania a place, a center that you bring people to.
I don't see that we have a center because there are lots of saunas and we can use, depends on the group size. I have my own sauna, but it is small smoke sauna. It's suitable for maybe 3-4 people, not more.
Yeah.
And there are lots of saunas which sometimes it's interesting when people are coming. It is interesting to try different saunas also.
Yes.
And also it is a part of teaching, because if you just know that there is a mobile sauna and you imagine that all saunas are like this, it is very limited understanding about what you can use and how can you do these things. So if people are coming to Lithuania, it is good to use the opportunity to try different things, to expand a little bit. Without teaching, you can learn a lot.
Yes. Yeah, brilliant. So going back to my previous point then, so in the last year, you mentioned to me before the podcast that you've been all over the world. Tell us about some of the different cultures and some of the experiences that you find, because it must be really eye-opening to go to places where sauna is really new. Like here in the UK, sort of we've got this new grassroots adoption of sauna culture. But also we see a big boom in places like Japan, United States, etc. So how do you find the different cultures react to what you guys are teaching?
It is really interesting to watch different cultures, because then you see your own culture in a bit different light. And also it is interesting to see how, let's say, I give the same information to all of them, and how it transforms in different cultures, how it cooks in a different way.
Yeah.
So, and what I see that in Lithuania, we have tendency to do too much of everything. We bring too much of plants, too much of products, to do it too long. We turn sauna, every sauna is turned into a kind of family party with grannies cooking meals and trying to impress the grandchildren, and it's like something what I don't like about Lithuanian sauna culture, because it's too much, just too much. In UK, we probably have an opposite situation, because usually they just do it very, very, I don't know how I want to say, just very limited.
Spartan, maybe.
Yes, I would say.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just think, why not to put a chair next to the sauna, or why not to make things a bit more comfortable? Why not to make some warm water? No, cold water, sauna, water, sauna, home. That's all. So, and again, it's something that it's turning things into challenge. Or if you go to Ireland, they are quite noisy, the saunas usually. And again, it's you need to learn how to communicate with these people to go to some kind of understanding which is more or less universal for everyone. But also, if you say that, there are cultures which have no sauna, I think that it's not true, because most of the cultures, they had some kind of saunas. Some of them lost, some of them not. And also, if we think that we know the real sauna culture of this or that country, it's also not always true. And for me, it was a good example about the Irish sauna. When I came a couple of years ago, and I started teaching some Lithuanian pirtis things, and they said, "Oh, you're so lucky that you have your sauna culture. We don't have." I said, "Yes. Have you tried to Google?"
Yeah.
And just I Googled in front of them, and because I knew something about Irish pit saunas or sweat houses. And now it's a very big movement to bring them back, to revive, because they have amazing sauna culture. Just amazing. And I don't know how many British people can say something about Irish sauna culture.
Yeah. Yeah, Mikkel Arland did a talk at the Norwegian Bastille Fest earlier this year, all about the history of Irish, I think he referred to them as Irish sweat.
They call it sweat houses. And I saw the magister work of one guy who just did it's a reconstruction archaeology. So, and what he did a replica of the sauna and measured everything, and it's really quite interesting thing.
Fantastic.
So, and I know that someone is there is a woman who is getting ready to publish a book.
Yes.
About Irish saunas. So it is a good example that people have no idea about their own sauna culture. And for me, it's really surprising that you say that you have no sauna culture here, because I can't imagine that having this kind of climate, people did not create these things.
Yeah, I mean, historically speaking, the Brits have always engaged with sweat bathing, confirmed as far back as Roman occupation. So we have Roman bathhouses all over the UK, or the remnants of, and obviously in Bath there's still the baths they had there as well. Even to the Victorian era, where Turkish hammams, Turkish bathhouses became very prevalent as well. It seems in our culture to go through waves, and in a very British way, it's adopting always some level of alterity or otherness, this idea that we Brits, even in our national cuisine, if we go for food in the UK, people will go and have a curry, and they will say, "Oh yeah, we have this British curry," this sort of appropriation of somebody else's experience that we just try and make a little bit exciting. But if you go back into prehistory, the likelihood is, just like Native American cultures or Central American cultures, that there probably was some kind of sweat lodges or sweat bathing, but archaeologically it's very difficult to find, and there is no written records of this before. So, and nowadays we ploughed all our fields into oblivion, so it becomes harder and harder to kind of find these things.
It's really complicated to find some archaeological evidence, because simply you can't know what was happening in these things which you are finding. And in Lithuania, first archaeologically proven sauna was in the beginning of 14th century. And of course, we think that it was much earlier, and maybe lots of centuries before. But in this case, we were lucky that it was a place which was wet, and our ancestors were not very careful about cleaning. So, and they just dropped the whisks next to the sauna. Okay. And archaeologists, they found some whisks at the sauna.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we can say that at least from 14th century we have sauna, and we were using this in the same way.
Yes.
And it's interesting to watch how conservative these traditions are, because they were made in a special way with crossed handles. And the same way people still are doing whisks in the countrysides, but they don't know why.
Yeah.
They just say that it is
how it's always
the oral tradition.
Yes, it's traditional way to do it. Yeah. They find, of course, some explanations. But it seems that it was a tradition which was passed from 14th century or even older times. And when I just try to do this myself in an old way, in a medieval way, let's say, I understand why they do it. Because if you can't make a knot, if you have no string, you can't do this another way. Yeah. Because you need to do it in a crossed way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and just after that, it made sense why.
Yeah.
There's usually always a practical element.
Yeah. Of course, it was a very practical element. And also, you mentioned there's some culinary things. What I can say about sauna things, these technical things, they are changing very quickly.
Yeah.
And it was always during the culture, in all cultures, that someone did some innovation, someone saw, they did it, but it is, okay, someone is making soup or pancakes or something. If you do something, you want a delicious thing. So, and no matter what kind of food you try to make, you will try to adjust it according to British taste. And I think that,
put a spin on it.
yes, if someone in Thailand would do fish and chips, probably they will do it in a Thai way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a
So,
wok.
and it would be not British fish
Yeah.
and chips,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that is very difficult to change, and maybe no need to change.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes a kind of open space to take everything,
Yeah.
what you find, what works for you, because it's not something what you destroy the culture,
Yeah.
because you bring things which are delicious for you.
Yeah. So
And-
the culture we can reflect on around the world, but what I'm quite interested in is what makes Lithuanian pirtis unique on the global stage, but also why it seems that if you look across lots of different sweat bathing cultures, why is the whisking so prevalent? Why is it such a important part of pirtis?
Okay, there are two questions. in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one is about what is Lithuanian pirtis.
Yeah.
One is about whisking.
Yes.
So, and okay, why we don't translate Lithuanian word pirtis? And also Latvians have very similar word, which is pirts. In fact, they're very similar, these two languages, and Lithuania is a bit more archaic, I would say. So, and why we don't translate it? Because when you translate, you lose some cultural meaning in it. You can translate like vodka or something, but it would mean some different things. So, and if you would look at the information which brings, with words are bringing. So, let's say word banya, we have the same root as bathing,
Yeah. Bathhouse.
bastu, baden, and so on. It's
Yeah.
bathing. Balneology is the same root. It's just about bathing. So, in fact, it's not a Russian word.
Yeah.
So, as far as I know, the word sauna means what? It's a kind of cave or hole or something. Very literally, if you just take the root. Because my background is linguistic, in fact.
Yeah,
So, and I really
etymology.
love digging a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So, also in most of the Slavic languages, like Polish or Czech or Ukraine, you have word lazня, which means the same, like a hole in the, or go into the hole, like a fox's hole.
Yeah.
Hole. So and again, it's a technical term which means like a cave and somehow small space where you go. So and what about pirtis? It's of course nobody can say for sure what it is, but there is association with word peri perai. It means incubating. Or there is a different word which the action when a chicken is hitting the egg.
Wow.
So, and for me, it gives very good and quick explanation what we do in pirtis and what we should do and what we should not do. So, because when I watch Lithuanian Bassmasters, it's like really like this chicken which are taking care of the eggs. They are rotating, they are heating, they are cooling down, they are like really taking care.
Yeah.
It's about
Don't cook the egg.
That's
yes,
it. I was
exactly,
just
exactly.
it.
So, and if you have an egg, you can have two options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either you warm up it slowly, gently, with care, and you have a new chicken,
Yeah.
or you fry it and you have fried egg, which is maybe good for you, but not for the egg, because eggs are not designed for being fried,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and also what it has, linguistically, it has a meaning of warming up.
Mm-hmm.
And also it has meaning of really transformation, because you have not a live egg before, then you go and warm it up and you have a live chicken, right? So, and it is what happens in sauna. When you, in all languages, everywhere you have the same concept, that sauna is a place of transformation, of rebirth. So, and you have one quality before sauna or before when you was an egg, and then you are warmed up and you have different quality. You are reborn. So, and for me, this philosophical meaning is something what is the most valuable thing. So, and
I like that.
that's why I think that it is something what also you can use, because my feeling is that this comes not from Lithuanian, maybe it comes from the old Europe this culture of Greek goddess, which is somewhere very, very deep in a cell memory. That sauna is a place of rebirth, of transformation. And this is something that is connecting our old culture, all this background which we have in all countries. So, and now talking about whisking, what it is about and why, and okay, a short question for you. Okay, not so short. Let's test a little bit. So, let's say you have to create the picture. You are artificial intelligence, and you need to give some kind of picture to create. How you would create the picture of paradise? Just describe. I'm a robot of artificial intelligence, and I need to make a picture. I don't know the word paradise.
Sure.
What it is?
I guess.
What should I paint?
Yeah, so I guess it's different for different people and different cultures.
Just for you.
I guess,
I'm a robot and paint. What should I paint?
I guess for me, relaxed, clear horizon. The balance is important.
Just pictures. I'm stupid robots.
Okay.
I'm robot. I need to create the picture.
My paradise is a Nordic lake in the summer, immediately after a rainstorm. The calm that you get, the sky is the clouds are really majestic. Everything is still and calm. There is water, and it's peaceful and beautiful.
Water, plants, maybe some friendly animals around. Someone is coming to hug you. Nice smells around. Probably it is warm. You are not very dressed, right? So it is something what is a kind of concept of paradise. Okay. Could you describe hell? The same way. Just in pictures.
I mean, again, it could be somewhere very, very cold or very too hot or too cold. Smells are bad.
Yeah.
You're in pain. You're terrified. Some horrible creatures that want to hurt you. You're in fear. You can't breathe properly.
Dark.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Maybe
What you're describing? You're describing a typical sauna.
A bad sauna.
So
it's too hot. I can't breathe.
Yes, it's too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
You are lonely.
Yeah.
It's painful. Someone is torturing you.
Yeah.
So stones, devils,
bad smells.
fire, bad smells, and so on. So, and in fact, we have the same space.
Yeah.
We have either hell or paradise.
Yeah.
So, and what is this? In fact, these two elements which are turning the same space into hell or paradise.
It's the context of one another.
It's plants and water and touch.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe three things. So, and this is my answer why we need whisking. And why we feel that it is something what is nice. Okay, something what is not very scientific, just like our philosophy, that whisking is in fact our cell memory of this primal happy monkey state. Because what would mean for the monkey, for the body of monkey being touched by leaves?
Yeah.
It is signal to your body that you are healthy. There are lots of plants around. It means that there are lots of food. So you are jumping in the trees, so you are healthy, you are active, you can enjoy life. So, and our body is still longing for it as a lost paradise.
Yeah.
So, and when you touch people with leaves, with plants, what does it mean? Your body remembers, it is paradise. Yes, I'm in paradise. I'm young, I'm happy and healthy. And of course, if you would try to get naked now and try to jump in the trees, it would not work.
Yeah.
Because first of all, maybe someone would call the doctors or police. It's not something what you want. It's not paradise at all. Also, your body is not designed for doing these things.
Yeah.
But if you go to sauna, you are comfortable. Your body is really open to touch. And for your body is not big difference. If you are jumping in the trees or trees are jumping on you, just you need this touch, this sense of leaves, this sense of hug with leaves. And it gives very, very, very deep sense of really comfort and revitalization, I would say, or rebirth or whatever. But of course, it is philosophical idea. I can't prove it. I have no time machine.
Yeah.
But just think a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so my undergraduate and masters were in archaeology with a focus on prehistoric archaeology and anthropology, and bathing cultures is something I've been fascinated in. There's very few references, and what we do find, we talked previously about what would a sauna or a pirtis look like that was very ancient. Well, it would probably be some semi-subterranean structure, probably some stones in the middle, some sign of burning, and actually we see this a lot. But we call this just a shelter, or perhaps they were cooking there. We can never tell. But what I really love is the stories from the 1800s of explorers who encounter cultures who've lived in isolation. So lots of stuff from Native American cultures, and also stories that come out of Siberia. And there's one reference that I found which I find really fascinating, which was an explorer, a European explorer who spent some time with Siberian nomadic groups, and the hunters, the men, actually do very little in the community other than keeping hostile other groups away, and occasionally going out on big hunts. And the story goes that the women have a lot of the traditional skills. They're fantastic fire makers and trapping small game and cooking and looking after everybody and really holding the community together. And the story goes that the men are going off on this hunt, and the women prepare this sweat lodge for them, and they're using birch that they have made whisks from. And in birch we have tannic acids, and we have saponins, saponification, how we get soap. And the hunters, they are scrubbing themselves like we would use a shower loofah. And the author of the ethnography asks them about this, and they say it's to remove the smell of being a human, the natural smells. And interestingly, after they've been to the bathhouse, they then go and stay far away from the community, especially the children. And this ethnographer is really fascinated why they stay away from the children. He thinks maybe it's some kind of spiritual thing, or they don't want to, And so he asks them, well, why do you stay away from the children after this bathing? And they say, but the children are the smelliest. The smell of human is most present on the children. So if you stay away from the children, otherwise the animals can smell you from a long way away. So I just find it fascinating, this idea that now, people at home listening to this will be used to maybe using a loofah or some kind of exfoliator. But actually we have a very natural exfoliators that naturally have soaps and natural acids which are very skin friendly. So listening to what you were saying, I just think it's...
I wonder if it came about as a practical, almost evolutionary impetus, because whenever I'm in the sauna or sweating in the heat, there's always a phase where I feel like my skin becomes a little bit itchy, and it's really refreshing to be whisked in that moment. So maybe someone just grabbed a handful of leaves and started scrubbing their bodies for a bit of soothing.
Probably this is why it was created, for very practical reasons. Because yes, as you mentioned, that if you spend long enough in warm and wet space, you want to scratch your skin. It's how our body works. And of course you can just try to use your fingers, but it's not working. And of course the most clear idea, the most such natural idea, just to grab something that is growing next to your sauna. Maybe sometimes you do some mistakes and use some things which are not good for your skin. But in general, you will find what to use. And also one more idea why we need these things. It is that if you would go to old saunas, your feet would be cold. And in most cases, it would be this. And even nowadays, you are sitting in sauna, your feet are cold, your head is burning. So, and this is how things are working. And of course, you can try to put your feet up somehow, but if you have limited space, again, it's not working. It is the easiest way to bring steam down, just taking whisks and just moving steam down to the feet, or putting the warm warm whisk to your feet, and you feel that, wow, it's nice. And also you can do this, some scrubbing, some other things. And yes, it is something what is very natural and very, very intuitive, let's say. So, and I think that it is something what we miss nowadays because we don't touch ourselves. So initially sauna was designed for touching, not for just sitting or some kind of. This is just a side effect of having some meditations or something. And also sauna was used for giving birth and other things. And sometimes when people ask what is a perfect sauna, I say that, okay, just go to the sauna and say if you would like to give birth in this place, or your wife or your partner to give birth in this place. If yes, it is a good sauna. If not, it's not good. So, and this is a very, very good test for everything. What is good, what is not. What is friendly to your body and everything, what is not. So, and unfortunately nowadays as we are born in hospitals which are not body friendly sometimes. So people have tendency, maybe out of this primal birth trauma, they tend to have saunas which are also not very body friendly.
Yeah, that's good to think about.
Yes, there are lots of things which are not so simple.
So in terms of whisking, I appreciate, as you've already talked about, that it takes a long time to really learn and adapt to these things. But if somebody's interested in whisking and listening at home, where would you recommend starting? What types of trees or leaves is a good thing to start with? And are there any little tips and tricks if people want to start experimenting? They're not, for example, they're not just trying to hit themselves as hard as possible, but maybe there's some other things they can be doing.
Okay, the main thing is that understand that whisking is not beating, it's not spanking, it's not something from BDSM. It is a phytothermal massage. And the same as massage, you can have very, very different goals and very different intensity. But also the same, it should be not traumatizing. So, and if you are not mentally sick somehow or some bad things are not happening with you, you won't traumatize yourself. So, and first of all, I really advise you to try on yourself, not on someone else. And then you will see what is working, what is not working. So, and you simply can have one whisk, no matter what kind of plant, but something what is not poisonous and what is not spiky and what you're not allergic for. So, and that's all. And also the main thing that it's not about slapping or some active things. It is about bringing steam to your body. So always remember that here is steam, here is your body. So, and you just use whisk as a spoon to bring this nice cream which you have at the ceiling to your body.
So you're scooping the steam down.
Yes. And when you touch the body, the whisk should be not wet.
Yeah.
We just take steam instead of water. And in fact, one of the ideas why whisking was created and also why the steam sauna was created, that it was the most economical way to warm up some water. Because if you would live many centuries ago, and you would have no possibility to warm up the water. So you create steam. Steam is condensing on your body. When you feel wet in sun, it's just very small amount of this liquid is your sweat. Most of it is water which is condensing on you. And you really are warming up and bathing in this condensate. And then you just take whisk and do some things. So, and when you go to sauna and you try to do some whisking, simply warm up the whisk in the steam. Of course, first of all, you need steam. If you have no steam, there is no sense to use it. No sense to do anything. So warm up the whisk, put to your body. Wow, it's nice. So put on your joints, on your big muscles. Again, it is something that is nice. Or just make a wave with the whisk to your body just to feel this sense that, wow, it is coming. Or then you can slap a little bit, but always when you touch your body or someone's body, whisks should be warm. Warm but not wet. There is also one bad habit when people dip whisks into water and slap with wet whisks. You just get lots of water around and to have a heavy slap. It's not something that is nice. So this is one of the main things. And then you can just try and experiment. But just it's good not to overheat the upper part of the body, and always it is good to warm up feet. It is something that is really always useful, especially if you want to go to cold water. Because when you go to cold water, your feet and your lower part of your body stays in this cold water the longest time. And you are sitting in sauna again. This is the coldest part of your body. So if you really want to go to cold water in a safe way, it is good to warm up this part of your body.
Yeah.
And without whisking, it's quite complicated to do it.
So it's not about slapping, rookie error to put them into cold water, for example. You just before the podcast, Birute was teaching me a technique for soaking whisks as well, which was really cool. Do you want to share some insight on?
It's just very, very simple and very practical thing, because if you have fresh whisks, of course they are perfect as they are, and no need to do anything with them. But if you have dry whisks, and especially if they are very dry, sometimes they are crispy, and if you would put them into cold or hot, no matter, just to dip into water, you will lose big amount of leaves. And leaves are something what is the most valuable part of the whisk, why we need it. So then it's simple way just to sprinkle with, it's better with warm water or even hot, and put into bag or box, but just into waterproof something, let's say. And put it somewhere in a sauna or in a warm space.
Yeah.
And if you would have some time, like 2 hours, mostly they are more or less ready.
Yeah.
Because this whisk is absorbing the water, and you can have whisk which is, sometimes you need to dip a little bit into water, but mostly not. Or you can just hold very carefully in steam. Again, it is one of the misunderstandings which I quite often see what people do. They take whisks and shake on top of the stove. No need to do it, because you just will have lots of burning leaves in your stove, and it's not something what is nice at all. So, but if the whisks are not well prepared, they are still a little bit dry, you can very carefully hold it in steam in the on top of the stove, but don't shake it, and don't create this all burning feeling. And also, in fact, it is something what is one more mistake from my perspective. It's better to use just clean water on the rocks, because rocks are quite hot, and especially if you have metal stoves, no matter wood burning or electrical, but anyway, they are quite hot, and everything what you pour on the rocks, it burns. And especially if you use some fragrant things which are quite chemical, you don't know what you create. So there are lots of much safer ways how can you create nice smell. And whisks, by the way, are one of them, because if you have good whisks, they give nice and natural smell. What you create in sauna, you create natural distillation. They just are distillated with steam, and you have very fresh aromatherapy just from the plant to your lungs, what is really good. And also there are different ways, essential oils. In fact, in Lithuania, probably I would not be understood if I would bring some chemical things, because it is the rule that just natural things and no chemicals, because we are surrounded by all kinds of chemicals. So, and if you go to sauna, you go to sauna for your health. You go to enjoy, and you believe that it is good for your body. So, and it is then better to have something what is maybe more expensive, maybe smaller amount, but what is really good quality. So.
Yeah, and I think that's it. If all your pores are open and you're taking deep breaths, and you make a really valid point that you're in a vulnerable state there. So
yes.
Working with natural material.
We say that after sauna we feel like newborns. So, and if you would not use this for a newborn baby, don't use it.
Yeah.
Just very simple rule. Or sometimes I say that this is a rule of the grandmother.
Yeah.
So I told for you how it is.
Yeah. If grandma can't understand the label, then it's probably not good. So.
Or if she can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
What is written. So it's better not to use.
Yeah. You also showed me some quirky bags, which I'm sure we'll get on the Finnmark website as well, around rehydrating whisks. The problem, of course, we have is whisks can only be foraged for a small amount of time. So we have, of course, a beautiful period which differs around the world depending on the seasons. But in early summertime here, some of our best whisks we've ever made are from fresh birch, from young saplings. But then after that, everything it's you're living on freeze dried.
It's not true. You can use all kind of evergreen plants which are not toxic. Also,
Mm-hmm.
if you use something first, you need to check about
Test
safety.
a little bit.
Not about test a little bit, but of course you can do it. But first you need to know what kind of plant you are using, because there are some toxic plants.
Of course.
And you need to know that you really know what you use. So, but you can easily use some fir or juniper or pine or spruce or some kind of evergreen plants which are not too spiky, and of course which are not toxic. And fir, for example, is an amazing plant which can be used in sauna. There are lots of different firs and they have amazing smell. With juniper or spruce, it's not so simple because you need to prepare them in the right way. So you need first to put them into hot boiling water, keep it for some time, and then beat to hard surface to soften, and then you can use it. But anyway, spruce or fir is something, or juniper is something which is more for men maybe, because male skin is not so sensitive, and also be careful. But you can really easily warm up your feet, and if you don't want to do this on your whole body, don't do it. But for feet, for not so sensitive parts of your body, you can really easily do it. Or fir is good for all your body, and also you can keep it in steam, or you can do compresses, just lifting it up into steam and then putting somewhere where you want some hot feeling. And even if you have no whisks, you can even try to use a towel in a contact way. It's easy to bring a towel. Everybody can get it.
Yeah.
So bring a small towel, pour some steam, and lift this towel up and put to your knees, to your feet, to your back, to wherever you want. Just try, and you will see the difference.
We were laughing about stinging nettles used as well. A lot of people are scared that stinging nettles in whisks are going to be painful and uncomfortable. But you made a really interesting point about what happens to the stinging nettles in the heat and the steam.
Also, if you want, yes, you can do it, and there are people who want this stinging sensations, but then you need first warm up really intense.
Yeah.
Really, if you see your body warm, if it is pink already, you can try to add a little bit of stinging nettle. And I know people who really love it, but this is a kind of extreme game.
Yeah.
But okay, it's not very dangerous.
Yeah.
But don't do it don't use fresh nettles on cold skin.
Yeah.
Because you will tell lots of bad words about sauna and yourself and this life and everything.
Yeah.
So but if it is warm, it's okay.
But if you soak dried stinging nettle and then heat them up,
mostly they are not stinging
they're
at
not
all.
stinging, yeah. And
Not
actually,
stinging.
nettles are quite a good tonic herb. We take nettle tea in the springtime, for example, because it is quite good for us. And obviously, we stay away from it because we have all stung our hands as children. And but it's something that
when they are dry, they are not the same plant.
yeah.
And if you have nettles which are fresh, you can just keep them in steam, and it's absolutely okay. I don't think that dried nettles can sting.
Yeah.
Is it quite popular to include, speaking of tonic herbs, other herbs and plants in maybe smaller amounts? So the main constituent is your tree leaves, but then introducing in some other kind of herbal plants.
Oh, all plants are nice. And I say that plants are something what is turning our sauna into paradise.
Yeah.
So and everybody have own preferences and own ideas what they like. I really like red oak in sauna because it is really long lasting. And for people who are afraid of cleaning, red oak is something that is a good idea because it has big leaves and they are quite resistant. They don't fall down.
Yeah.
So and comparing with birch, which is nice for scrubbing, for washing, it contains saponins, but it is quite pollutive to sauna. This is not so pollutive, and even some some leaves will fall down, you can just collect them quite easily.
Yeah.
So
it's true. After a birch whisking, there's just leaves everywhere. It's a real commitment to clean up afterwards. But the red oak, and for anybody who's only listening to the podcast rather than watching it on YouTube, that rustling sound is because Birute was just holding up a beautiful red oak whisk here. So
it's a reflex. I can't not touch. if I have whisks, I need them.
Yeah, I guess the other important thing, and not everybody's an expert in herbalism or botany, but as you said, if you're using herbs, then you need to know if toxicity, whether there are any chemicals in them, and even more so if you're using medical plants, that in some small quantities plants can be very good for us, but then in larger doses can be quite toxic. And then you were talking about conifers before, coniferous plants. The last thing you want to do is go and gather some yew, for example, which is full of taxin, super poisonous. Absolutely under no circumstances should you be whisking anybody with yew. So you really do have to know what you're doing. It's not just a case of...
And in fact, I would say that in sauna always there is a rule that less is more.
Yeah.
So, and if you do something, first rule is why you do it. Why? If you don't understand why, don't do it. And if you don't know what kind of plant it is, don't bring it. It's like inviting someone to live in your house.
Yeah.
Or just giving keys from your house and your car.
Yeah.
Probably you need to check the documents of this person. So the same is with plant. You need to be sure that you know what it is and what qualities it has.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, the whole magic is not in the big amount of plants, but in respectful using them. And okay, sometimes we can have lots of different plants, and you can have maybe pleasure out of having this abundance of plants. But I would say that it's not always respectful for the nature, because you cut it and you lose it. So, and for me, maybe the most magic things happened in sauna when I just had 2 bad quality whisks and my own hands and the right moment.
Yeah.
So if magic wants to happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
And you can't stop it.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to experiment with herbs in their whisks, are there any super safe, super easy to identify? Is there anything that you would recommend that you like that's hard to get wrong? I think maybe things like lavender, or is there anything like that?
I would say with flowering plants always can be someone who is allergic to it.
With pollen.
It's pollen. So maybe like oaks or maples are more safe plants. With birch, I've seen lots of people who are allergic to them.
That's right, yeah.
So, and if you have a group of people, I really avoid things like wormwood or mugwort, or I need to use it very, very carefully.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of people who are allergic to them. But some people really love it. And again, if you feel that this is a little bit maybe not clear how it will work, use it in very small amounts.
Yeah.
And I say that usually in sauna it's always good to do far not enough, but not a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because it is the space which needs to be respected, and also the plants the same way. But if you have a nice plant and if you know what it is, you know that it is not poisonous, you can try to experiment a little bit. Also, plants here and in Lithuania, they are different. Someone is asking, can I use, for example, rosemary? It doesn't grow in Lithuania. I can get small amount. I can say that it's not somehow bad, but I don't know how it would work to make a whisk. Or sweet chestnut. Again, it doesn't grow in Lithuania. I tried a few times here. I know that it is not poisonous. It is nice. It gives nice smell. And also it is surprising. And when you bring different plants to sauna, they can get absolutely different smell. And you can even not recognize. Only in sauna I first realized why people say that brandy smells oak. Because if you would come to oak, it doesn't smell anything. And when you go to sauna, when you warm it up, when it gets some steam, some heat, it starts smelling like cinnamon, vanilla, fruits. It's absolutely different. Or some other plants, they can really surprise you.
It's the same tannic acids that, speaking of the brandy, it comes out of the oak barrels when you
Yes.
store alcohol in them. So, yeah, that'll be it.
So, are there any? So we've talked about herbs. Are there any spices or anything? You know, when I think of spices, I think of you talked about cinnamon, cloves. You know, is there anything that you use in practically speaking in bath rituals that you would recommend?
Practically speaking, when I get ready for sauna, I go to supermarket or to market and buy lots of different food, which I use in a stupid way, as people would say. So, and in fact, all these edible things, not all, but most of these edible things can be used for sauna treatments. With spices, of course, you can use it, but again, be a bit careful because in sauna, you're much more sensitive. All these cloves and cinnamons and things like this, they are quite intense.
Like pepper and stuff.
And I would say, yes, they again can be quite burning.
Okay.
It is good, for example, to mix some cinnamon with salt and rub the feet. If you really want to warm them up. But for the whole body, it can be quite irritating. But sometimes you can really play with very simple things like a piece of, let's say, orange or avocado or something, just rubbing the skin as a body mask. This is the whole big art of creating all kinds of strange ideas. The only thing that it is maybe in sauna not good to use something on the face.
Yeah.
Because especially if you are sitting, what happens? You are sweating, and everything
Gets in
just
your
flows
eyes
down
and-
to your eyes. And no matter what nice things you put on your face, if you have them in the eyes, it's not a pleasant feeling.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can create really nice things out of very simple things, like horse chestnut, for example. It's an amazing scrub,
Yeah.
which is ready to use. Just you need to make powder out of it. Collecting the horse chestnut fruits, somehow cut them, or because you need to dry them out.
Yeah.
Because if you will dry them without cutting, without chopping somehow, it is impossible then to make powder.
Yeah.
And then dry them out, make powder, and it is ready to use
Is it
scrub.
just the inside of the horse chestnut, or?
In fact, not a big sin if you would use the whole plant, then just remove the bigger parts
Yeah.
after that, the way you want. So, but in general, you can mix with salt. You can just use however you want, because it also has natural saponins, and it is really easy to get it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And there are lots of plants which can be used. I don't know if it grows here in Lithuania. You have nice plant which is called soapwort,
Soapwort.
Saponaria officinalis.
Yeah.
And again, we can use it as a natural soap, as natural scrub. But again, if you use something, it is good to check with Latin name.
Yeah.
Because sometimes common names can be quite confusing.
Yeah.
And in America, for me, was a bit challenging. I don't say challenging, but it was a good and bad experience, because I saw big plants, big trees, and asked what it is. Maybe we can use them for whisks. It was spring. They said, it's a hemlock. I said, what? Because
Yeah.
I knew that hemlock is a kind of different thing.
In the UK, it's or
So-
Europe, it's the very poisonous.
So, and
Hemlock
then what
water
they
droplet.
explained, that they call this plant, which is Latin name is tsuga. They call it hemlock, and this poisonous plant they call water hemlock.
Yeah.
So, and imagine what would happen that you can use hemlock in sauna, and you take water hemlock,
Yeah.
which is really super poisonous herb.
Yeah.
It's good even not to touch. So it is good to have Latin name which explains everything.
Yes.
And also, if you look for information, it is easier to get a scientific information with Latin names, because people can get very strange things and can give very strange advices sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you really are looking for information, look for some scientific information, because
Yeah.
first of all, what we do in sauna, we use physical reality, we use physical things. We need to make people safe here, and we work with physical body first of all. And then if we develop some skills, we can work with some more subtle things, energies or emotions or whatever. And it's also a big topic to talk about, some body memories, some emotions, and some how to help people with emotional trauma situations, for example. And we had a good project. We participated in Sauna 8 project, which was initially constructed for. The idea was for that we helped people after Ukraine war for the refugees. And what we did in Lithuania, we really had lots of refugees. Most of them were Ukrainian women who literally in one day lost everything. So, and they came to Lithuania in shock. And we organized in these first days of war, we organized project that we were inviting women to sauna and just for free doing some treatments. And now you can find somewhere online this short online training which is free, so you can get some advices how to behave with people in emotional trauma situation. And it's not especially for refugees or for Lithuanian style of sauna, just what is important. How to behave and how not to behave. And after that, we did a small research about the result of this. So just sent questionnaires to these people who got this experience of sauna in emotional trauma situation. And the result was that more than 75% of them said that attending sauna just once had long-term positive effect on their physical and emotional health.
Wow.
And more than 20% said that the effect was positive, but it was not long-lasting. And just there were 2 maybe responses which said that I did not notice or I can't say. So in fact, it's 99% positive effect on emotional health.
Yeah.
So, and for someone who is in some crisis situation, trauma situation, so if you have other tool which is so easy to access, which is so easy to use, which has almost no side effect except that you will be more clean after that, tell me.
Yeah.
And also it is 100% natural.
Yeah.
And especially if you use touch, if you use plants, if you use some kind of these things which we are offering. It is a magic thing, which is, I would say that it's a future technology. And everybody who can get it, it is good to have at least like we have this first aid, which is physical first aid. I think that everybody needs like first emotional sauna aid. Just understanding how can you help yourself. If you feel burnt out, if you feel depressed, if your friend is somehow burnt out, it is important for people who can't look for emotional health. It is not easy to say that, oh, I'm feeling really bad. And people rather kill themselves than go to doctors. And it is easy to bring them to sauna because there is no resistance. Just to go to sauna.
Yeah.
You're not crazy, you're not mad, you're not mentally sick, which is still some more traumatizing than this state itself.
Yeah.
So, and what you can do, just can move your natural body process, and you can very naturally help someone.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's fantastic.
Powerful.
Yeah, we supported Sauna Aid previously as well, and it's great to see yourself and the Bath Academy involved. So, now's the opportunity to promote a little bit. If people want to learn a bit more about the International Bath Academy and what you guys are up to, what's the website? Where would they find more?
Very simple, bath.academy.
Perfect. Excellent. And do you guys use social media?
Oh, we have no time for social media because we're always in
the
sauna.
sauna.
And it's you can find it in mostly in Facebook.
Yeah.
With Instagram, we are not very good doing these things, but okay. And also you just can write and ask.
Great. So anybody who's looking to train practitioners, people who want to be bath masters, or also just get more out of commercial saunas in terms of group treatments and things like that, International Bath Academy is the place to go. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been really great fun.
Such a pleasure.
We could talk for hours more, and I'm sure we will.
Sure we will.
For anybody else who's made it this far and still listening, we're going to go and have a sauna and do some whisking and just a bit of relaxation. So after Birute's long and exciting journey to get here. So yeah, good chance to unwind.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much.